The chapter starts with Emu over Saturn's body attacking indiscriminately all pirates and marines in God Valley. Then Emu came face to face with Rox. Rox says, "Hey, King of Rats over there. You're here to kill me, aren't you?" And Emu says, "To think it was you. Davy Jones." Rox says, "I think you got the wrong person there. I never even met that fella. However, a promise ought to be kept, won't you agree?" And Emu says, "And that's why you all need to be erased, completely eradicated from history. Moo's world is not yet completed." And Rox says, "This world is not yours." Wow, what a start to this chapter. So we saw at the end of the previous, Rox, Whitebeard, and Kaido teaming up to take on Emu, who had taken over Saturn. And this is how it starts. So Emu's saying to Rox here, "To think it was you, Davy Jones." There's a lot of ways you could take this, and you can watch several different YouTubers analyzing this, and you're probably going to get a different explanation from all of them. To me, it seems like Emu just sees Davy Jones in Rox. Since, a couple chapters ago, which was years ago in the timeline, Rox invaded Mary Joie and got to the Chamber of Flowers and confronted Emu and said, "Hey, I'm a fan of Davy Jones." I think it more so means that Davy Jones's will is going through Rox here, inherited will of D, yada yada yada. And also them saying "to think it was you, Davy Jones," makes me think that maybe Davy Jones wasn't actively going after Emu the way that Joy Boy was possibly back in the day, because it's implied that Joy Boy and Davy Jones were probably counterparts of each other, both representing the two halves of the D's. And then saying that's why you need to be erased completely, talking about the D's, I assume. Moos, that's how Emu refers to themselves. I think it's supposed to be childish or something. World not yet completed. The way that they are crafting the world, or the way that they have for at least the last 800 years. Especially with the Tequila Wolf bridges being made, or one of them's Tequila Wolf, and then there's other bridges. They're all kind of making that cross pattern. That's part of it, but just ultimately the way that Emu wants the world. It's not fully completed yet. And it goes into a deeper theory that I'm going to be talking about on the next break week with Sai, about how Emu is probably the protector of the world in their own messed up way. Rox and Emu began to fight. At the same time, Garp arrived at the scene with some Marines and walked towards the fight. He saw how Emu attacked pirates and Marines. The Marines say, "Garp-san, should we provide backup?" And Garp says, "Of course we should." The Marines say, "But to whom?" So Garp is here, and we know that he is for sure going to join in this fight against Emu, based off of the spoilers that we've seen since Monday. But this is just kind of building up his thought process here, which I like. I'm on board with Garp again. No, I'm still not a fan of him staying with the world government despite of everything. But there might be something happens where it makes sense for why Garp stays. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. Cut to the Roger Pirates versus the Rox Pirates. In a great double page, Captain John used the Jiki Jiki no Mi fruit power, the same fruit that Kid has in the present, to collect all treasures for himself with the magnetic power. Captain John says, "Come to me, treasures." Scopper says, "All metals are reacting to it. Don't let your weapons be taken." The Rogers Pirates say, "Strong magnetic force detected from the entrance of the valley to the southeastern region of the island." Roger says, "Out of my way, I don't give a darn." Despite the strength of the magnetic power, Roger continued running towards the place where Emu and Rox were fighting. Gonzoi saw what Captain John was doing, so he attacked him with the Bamu Bamu no Mi fruit power, the same fruit that Mr. Five has in the present. Gonzoi shot a dried mucus at Captain John using an attack called Snake Sky Red Cannon and defeated him. Dragon's gun was also pulled by Captain John's magnetic power, so Dragon fell on the ground when Captain John was attacked and passed out. Dragon and Shanks got separated, and then we could see that Shanks climbed into one of the treasure chests. Alright, a lot to unpack here. So Captain John, as we found out yesterday, straight up had Kid's devil fruit, which is interesting. Captain John eventually dies after God Valley. His crew winds up killing him once he becomes the captain of them, because I guess he was hoarding treasure for them or whatever. And then some point after that, the fruit, reincarnates, and then Kid gets it. And also Gonzoi has Mr. Five's devil fruit, still using the booger application of it. I guess that's just a practical way to use the fruit. But he defeats Captain John. I didn't expect that. So that's kind of cool. And then Dragon, via his gun, getting getting pulled to Captain John and then getting knocked out by it. And I guess Dragon doesn't have his devil fruit yet, whatever it is, you know, the Wind Logia or the Wind Mythical Zone, who knows. But Shanks here separating from him, and as a baby, he himself crawled into the treasure chest, and I guess it shut or whatever, because very soon the Roger pirates are going to find Shanks in that treasure chest, and then that's how he becomes, you know, Shanks. Cut again to the place where Emu and Rox were fighting. Garp arrived, but a group of Marines were grabbing him to try to stop Garp. The Marines say, "No, you can't do it, Vice Admiral Garp. That's the highest authority of the world government." Garp says, "You mean that vermin?" Kaido asks Rox to let him have a go too. But suddenly Lin arrived, flying on Zeus, and attacked Kaido. Roger finally arrived too and prepared to attack Emu. Lin angrily says, "Hold on a second now, Kaido. I'm gonna kill you." Kaido says, "You're jealous, right? Watch this." Roger says, "Garp, that's my target." Then, in one of the most epic double pages in all of One Piece, Garp, Rogers, Rox, Newgate, Kaido, and Lin attack Emu together. Garp says, "Galaxy Impact." Roger uses Divine Departure. Rox uses Pandemonium. Whitebeard uses Hakua. Lin uses Ikoku Sovereignty. And Kaido just uses Dragon. All those massive attacks destroyed Emu's body. Yes, this for sure has to be one of the most epic panels, but just one of the most epic moments in One Piece history for sure. I would be more excited, but it's just we've known about this for 48 hours now. I just can't wait to see, you know, the actual page itself. Then, you know, we'll get more hype. But yeah, this is incredible. And also, Garp, I'm loving it, all right? I like it, guys. I like that Garp straight up called the Gorosei vermin. I mean, we always knew that Garp was against, you know, the Celestial Dragons or whatever. I mean, it was straight up told to us in 957 that's why he didn't want to become an admiral, so he wasn't directly subservient to them or had to defend them or whatever, even though we can go into semantics about it. We've already beat that dead horse. But I like that he's at least joining in here in this big battle here, and they're all attacking Emu at once, and Emu's body is destroyed, but, you know, we're going to see that doesn't really matter. Lin was trying to attack Kaido, but Kaido dodged the attack, and it hit on Emu's body instead. Kaido's attack was a bolo breath, but since it was the first time Kaido used it, he hasn't yet decided what to name it, lol. Lamentably, Emu recovered from the attacks immediately, and then Emu unleashed a super massive wave of Conqueror's Haki that made a lot of people in God Valley lose consciousness. Despite everything, Rox continued attacking Emu, and he even managed to cut Emu's body into pieces with his sword, but it was useless against Emu. So yeah, Emu has ultimate regeneration. You know, we knew that this was going to happen. We saw what the Gorosei can do. We saw what the Holy Knights could do. Emu obviously has this power at the highest level for sure. And as for them unleashing Conqueror's Haki, it's kind of just par of the course at this point. It's like if you can't unleash a big wave of Conqueror's Haki, you're really not that impressive anymore, I guess. Just because the power creep has gone so high. But the extra special thing about this is that technically the regeneration should be slowed down or halted to some extent, because we saw that when you use Advanced Conqueror's Haki or Advanced Conqueror's Haki, you could slow down the regeneration or just straight up stop it. And Rox for sure has that. Roger probably has it. Garp probably has it too. So you've got at least 3 of them. Maybe Whitebeard has it. Who knows? We're talking about this point in time, of course. Still not enough to really stop Emu. Just come back like Majin Buu at this point, I guess. Emu says, "Mu can see your wife and son running through the forest." Rox says, "Don't you dare even touch them." Emu, still cut into pieces, stabbed Rox's body with 2 black tentacles. Emu says, "Rest assured, Mu won't do anything." Rox says, "Ugh, a mosquito bite is more." Emu says, "You will be the one who wipes out your entire clan. Annihilate your wife and son." Rox says, "What?" As if something that absurd. Emu says, "Domi Reversi, black conversion control." Rox says, "Ugh." In an amazing last page of the chapter, Emu used Domi Reversi on Rox, while Garp, Roger, Newgate, Lin observed in shock what is happening. The chapter ends with Rox starting to transform into a demon. We can see his fangs begin to grow. And in the last panel, we see Eris and Teach running through the forest. End of chapter, no break next week. So yeah, unfortunately, we knew that this was going to happen too. But it seems like Emu needs to have some kind of preamble manipulation to fully Dami reverse you, or maybe, I don't know. At least it just works with Rox. And I do like the dialogue from Emu here. It's like, rest assured, Mu won't be doing anything. You're going to be killing not only your wife and child, but your whole family. And the fact that we see Rox slowly Dami reversing here into a demon makes me hope, at least, that he can, like,
fight through this, you know, because if anybody can, it would be Rox. And if Rox can like Dami unreversey, that would be incredible. And I really think that would land this sequence safely, because if Rox is just Dami reversing and then he tries to like kill Teach and Eris, then it's like, all right, well, that's kind of a character assassination, but whatever. I'll talk about this again. I'm sure you guys love hearing me repeat myself in all these reviews, but once we get like the panels in the chapter or whatever, you know, I'll make a video for that, of course. We'll get to see the epic panels in this chapter as well. But let me know what you thought about this, guys, in the comments. And if you liked the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.